What's up guys, Jamilian or Jam here. Tomorrow the ReZero anime panel will be taking place and I can't believe we're so close to it. Apparently this event will be huge as it has several Japanese voice actors from the main cast of the show. Subaru, Amelia, Rem, Ram, Beatrice, Roswell, Otto, Garfield, and Puck's voice actors are confirmed to be there. This is pretty interesting because the Kadokawa streams for the ReZero Lost in Memories game normally only has Subaru and Amelia's voice actors present. So I don't think this event will focus on anything regarding the mobile game, thankfully. There's a very strong possibility that this could just be a Season 2 director's cut, similar to how Season 1 got one, where we had the cliffhanger of Amelia asking Subaru the infamous question, who is Rem? I wouldn't mind if we got a Season 2 director's cut, as we didn't see the plot twist of Echidna inhabiting a Ryuzu clone. However, Season 1's director's cut began releasing in January 2020 and concluded in April 2020. It may be way too soon for White Fox to put together a director's cut within 3 months. I really hope we don't just get a director's cut for Season 2 announced for the panel. Although it would be best to keep expectations low and be prepared for it to be the only announcement. We could get some OVAs announced and revealed at the anime panel. There are several routes that White Fox can take for OVAs. They could adapt some side stories such as the EX novels, which would provide insight and more development to the side characters and be good for setting up future arcs. Or they could go the route of adapting what if routes. The what if stories are non-canon stories of when Subaru chooses one of the 7 deadly sins instead of the 7 heavenly virtues. Now that Season 2 has concluded, we could potentially get 3 of the what ifs animated. The Sloth, Wrath, and Greed what ifs. Maybe 4, but they would have to alter the Pride what if slightly to remove an Arc 5 or Season 3 spoiler. Warning, if you have not read either the Sloth, Wrath, Greed, or Pride what ifs and do not want to be spoiled, please skip to the times shown on the screen or come back after you've read them. The Sloth what if takes place at the end of Season 1 Episode 18, but Subaru chooses the sin of sloth and takes the easy route of running away with Rem to start a family instead of being diligent enough to protect Amelia and the others. This what if is the longest as it has several chapters and a prequel as well, so it would most likely be several OVAs. Personally, this is my least favorite, as it's the most lighthearted and it's mostly catered to Subaru and Rem shippers. While ReZero does well with romance, with Subaru and Amelia, it is at its best when it's telling a darker story. So the other what ifs would be more interesting to see animated, such as the Wrath what if, which takes place at the end of Episode 7 of Season 1. Where Subaru decides to give in to wrath. He takes Beatrice's protection and takes out his anger and pent-up feelings on Ram. Instead of being patient and being able to forgive, to jump off the cliff to save her and her sister, Rem, who died from the Mobby's puppy's curse. This is one of the darkest what-ifs, as we see a twisted and corrupt version of Subaru rise to power as the Purge King. I'm not sure how they would animate this, as it's very graphic and it would have to be censored. The Greed what if takes place after the events of Season 2 or Arc 4, where Subaru became greedy and wanted to save everyone and have everything go right. He accepted Echidna's offer and gave up his soul and sanity just to get through the events of the Sanctuary, instead of being charitable and willing to share the burden with Otto and the others. Echidna made Subaru die 100 million times, just so she could see every possible outcome and satisfy her greed for knowledge. This is possibly the saddest what if, as Subaru is trapped in this cycle for the rest of his life. The Pride what if is another dark and twisted what if. It takes place during the first 3 episodes of Season 1 or Arc 1, where Subaru was too prideful and believed himself to be the main character who can solve everything on his own and refused to ask for help against the thugs in the alleyway and Elsa. Instead of being humble enough to accept his weakness and ask for help. Subaru has died so many times to the point he's memorized the thugs' fighting pattern. In one loop, he proceeds to kill them and goes to the loot house to try and figure out a way to stop Elsa. Subaru ends up seeing Reinhardt take her out with ease. He becomes very jealous and spiteful, which leads to him becoming the Sin Archbishop of Pride. I genuinely hope we get the what if OVAs announced and confirmed at the event, as side stories can always be adapted into the anime and have the highest chance of becoming OVAs. The what ifs have great stories and provide insight onto what would have happened in certain situations if Subaru had chosen one of the 7 deadly sins instead of one of the 7 heavenly virtues. It would be an absolute shame for all of ReZero to be animated and we aren't able to see the what ifs animated. What if OVAs are the least likely to be announced at the panel, unfortunately? If we were to get one, it would most likely be the Sloth what if, as all Rem stans around the world would lose their shit, not to mention her voice actor will be at the event, and Rem is not a part of Arc 5 or Season 3. Finally, the most likely announcement to be made at this panel is ReZero Season 3. I highly doubt we'll have a trailer, but just a teaser image or just a confirmation and release date for it. I would totally be okay with the confirmation of Season 3 and a release date, as long as it doesn't take 4 years again. Now for my predictions for the panel. I think we'll get a Season 3 announcement with a release date, but no trailer, as I said earlier. The earliest I can see it coming is winter 2022, as White Fox still has to make Goblin Slayer Season 2 and potentially Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2 if they're still in charge of it. I also predict we will get 2 OVA confirmations as well. There will be side stories or potentially one will be the Sloth if. For my final prediction, I think we'll see a director's cut for Season 2 announced to build up hype for Season 3. It will most likely come in early 2022. As for my wishlist for the panel, I want you to imagine this. At the panel we get an announcement that Sloth, Wrath, and Greed ifs are all getting OVA adaptations. I would lose my shit. I really hope we get those what ifs confirmed. I can be happy with just those being announced, as it opens the door to future what ifs being made into OVAs, such as the Gluttony and Vainglory ifs. It would be insane, as right now the chances of the what ifs getting animated are so slim. Then at the end of the panel, they drop one last announcement, similar to how a Nintendo Direct would do it. We get a trailer, and we see Subaru at a plaza with a crowd of people. He looks up and is horrified to see a kid in chains held by a woman wrapped up in bandages. Then we see that Season 3 is confirmed with a release date of 2022. While I would like a director's cut, I wouldn't mind White Fox skipping out on it so they can put all their time and resources towards a Season 3 or OVAs. With that being said, what do you guys think we'll see? What is your wish list for the panel? I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section down below. I plan on covering each chapter of Arc 5 and all future arcs while making more ReZero content like this as well. If you don't want to miss out, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching and I hope you have a great day.